Hello, Alyssa. Thank you so much for sharing your work. I've got your writing up on the left and I've got the image up on the right. So let's go ahead. I'm just trying to get that. All right, that's perfect. Excellent. Okay, so first of all, I want to say thanks for a great class. I think that you've been really an exceptional contributing member to the success of this class, and I do consider this to be a very, very successful class. I think the level of engagement on the entire group, I think, is really remarkable. You guys get this, and it's just been a pleasure teaching this class because you guys are all engaged. The whole class, you guys are all engaged. You're really great providing good, pertinent, robust, valuable, and thoughtful critique to each other, as well as discussion and response posts. And it's just been, this class has been a pleasure to teach because it's such an engaged group, and you certainly have played your part in contributing to the success of the group. So thank you very much for that. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the ad. I think it's a really great analysis, and I think my favorite part about this week is I kind of look at this week and I kind of go back to week one and I think about the differences in the level of expertise that is seen in the analysis of the ads and some of the discussion posts. And again, it's just pointing in the right direction, and it's all in the name of learning. So this is just really fantastic. The analysis is great. I think you've got some really wonderful things. I kind of want to go through this. Let's go ahead. Copying a photo reads the Olympics. I think the copy is kind of generic. I think the concept is basically what, and again, here's another really great example of how contemporary modern advertising is concept driven as opposed to text driven, like we see in ads of the past. So right now it's very, very typical to see this configuration of some sort of a conceptual image and just minimal text with a logo. We saw it just in a post right before yours. We saw, and actually the one before that too. So we're definitely seeing a minimalist trend in advertising design. So again, yes, the concept is really strong. Let's talk about execution. Yeah, I think there's an inherent amount of energy with this. I've got some recommendations. I've got some questions that I want to ask you about the ad. But right now we're talking about balance. You see symmetry and balance. But I think I just want to make a clarification here because you're saying if you were to divide the ad down the middle, there would be equal amounts of visual weight on either side. And that's not necessarily what symmetry is. Symmetry doesn't really take into consideration the visual weight as much as it does the form on each side. So what we're looking for is a mirror image of form on each side. So if we were to take two of my hands and fold them over together like that, they would fold right on top of each other, indicating symmetry, right? Well, we don't really see this on this ad. Now, I understand what you're saying about equal distribution of weight, and I agree there is an equal distribution of weight. I think it's a little bit heavy to the right, of course, because um, of the logo and the text on the right-hand side, and there's nothing to counter it on the left. So it's a little bit out of balance. Let me see. They cut apart appropriately to appear to depict someone in motion. Yes, we do get a tremendous amount of emotion. I agree with that. There's a lot of motion going on in the ad. So discussing balance. So we talked about the symmetry. So basically, I would call this an asymmetrical balance. And that's only because, again, there's nothing here there's nothing on this side that will counter this. Okay, this could be considered symmetry because it's got equal appendages, an arm and a leg, an arm and a leg, and a head on either side. So that could be, it's not perfect symmetry, but it could definitely be considered symmetry. But I would call the overall outline, the overall I would call the overall composition to be asymmetrical. Okay, repetition definitely. Okay, this is where it really gets good because in the bottom you think you execute and get the idea. Look at that. Oh, you're telling about where the ad can be improved. And I love that. I love it because I agree with you. The alignment, these don't line up. They don't. And I think this ad is so close to being really compelling. But as you said, I think the scale is off in some areas and it just doesn't line up the way it should in some areas. So I totally agree with that. Here's my question now. What would it do to affect the ad if this were to be let's say we adjusted the scale and really made this look like one person, right? And then we clipped that out, masked it out using Photoshop, and placed him on maybe, let's say, just a soccer field. Would it be more compelling or would it be less compelling? Is it more interesting with the multiple backgrounds? Or do you think if we were to take this guy and put him on one field, that would be, which one do you think would create more visual engagement and why? Okay, and that's my only question really that I have. Really fantastic analysis. Okay, at this point, I just want to remind you that the course survey is out, the evaluation, and you can find information on that right over in the announcement in the announcements area, right underneath this little boy in this race car saying we made it. Here, right here, course survey. There's information there, and then right below that, there's a whole dedicated announcement giving you information on how to take the course survey. I would really, really appreciate it if you were to do that. It just kind of, your voice as the student voice is the most important voice in the university. So let's go ahead and be heard by giving your opinions and your evaluation based on the level of engagement and instruction that you've received and the course layout and setup itself. Okay, outstanding, great, fantastic. Thank you very much. Any questions, comments, concerns? Please let me know. But yeah, I'd like your take on that. My question about the ad. So thank you very much, Alisa. I appreciate it.